Look at you. You made it to the second part of the video where we make a website for this band. And we do it with WordPress, and they're impossibly hard to work with new editor Gutenberg. Just kidding. So, in the first part of the video, we sort of set up everything in the theme. We dropped in a client folder that adjusted the header navigation and all the typography and the style guide for the site. In this part of the video, if you're following along from part one, you probably still have no navigation. So just to reiterate real quick, you can download all this stuff from our website, our plugins, our themes. They're all free. They'll probably be free forever. Or you can download the plugin from WordPress.org. And you'll never know how many other people have downloaded it because we edited around it. So this is where you should be at. If you are following along from part one of the video, you can kind of see that we still have all of our sections in place. Our style guide is in place, but we don't have any navigation links. And we also didn't show you how we actually built the page. So in this video, I'm going to show you the world's fastest landing page build using the Gutenberg block editor. Look at how fast I am. Boom, 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 boom. Creating colors. So we've added our colors from our style guides so that we can use those colors within the actual content. So besides the fact that the video is sped up, the other thing you should be noticing is that we use C9 grid blocks for almost all of our containers in the site. The reason for that is because we can actually assign unique IDs to them, and then our navigation can link directly to them. The other thing that's great about the C9 grid block is if you use columns like I am here, that they all stack automatically on mobile websites, so you don't have to worry about that. C9 grids also support background imagery and background videos. So this website uses a background video, and you're going to see me drop it in here in just a second, and it's just a simple YouTube link. The C9 grid blocks background videos are automatically muted because no one likes auto playing sound on videos, and they also loop automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that. And all I had to do that was copy and paste a YouTube link in the background settings. So you should notice that you're seeing the video in the back end as well. And we actually did still set an image in the background because the video backgrounds will not display on mobile typically. So you want to have a fallback image of some kind. So one other thing to keep in mind is you should save as often as you can. There are auto saves done by WordPress, but you never know when the Goot is going to get you. And by that I mean you might have an error. So save as often as you can. So this second section I'm just going to use a color background, and I'm just going to match it to that simple graphic I have there, and then just add a video. And then I'm going to add a YouTube link to the video button there. And what you'll notice, even though it happened really quick, is when you click on a button that's linked to a YouTube video, if you're using one of our themes, it's going to open it in a lightbox. It's not going to send people to YouTube. So it's a nice way of keeping people on your site. So another thing you'll notice that we haven't covered yet is this is all of our pre-built section templates that come with the C9 Blocks plugin. So we're going to make extensive use of these in this site. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of scroll through these and find the layouts that we think are most relevant for a band website. So we've got a couple of these what we call lineups or ticket grids, and essentially what these are is a background image and a button and some of our custom heading blocks with a custom background color. Now, since this is a website for another band and not for a stock content band, we're going to change all this content out. So these section templates should be there for you to speed up your process of building pages and so that you don't have to make so many design decisions. So I guess the question is, could you make a site with all templates? And the answer is you could. You could just make your entire site with section templates. And a lot of the sections that we're going to do on this site were templates that I just swapped out content on. And I would not advise touring with Chevelle if you have a choice. Please, no. No more Chevelle. So there's the next section template, which we call a streaming Spotify preview. So it adds a Spotify playlist, and all you need for that is a link to a different Spotify playlist. So you'll see that I've sort of come prepared here with another Spotify link. And then over to the right there is a simple image carousel, and we are just going to swap in actual album graphics for this band. So just more swapping out the sample placeholder content with actual content from the band. And the nice thing is there's a couple different variations of these streaming templates. So, this one has a single template there, or a single playlist with 3 album covers. We also have one that has 3 album covers and 3 Spotify embeds. So that's one you're going to see get loaded up here next. There it is. So there's a couple different options if you're a band. If you want to highlight your entire discography, as I'm sort of doing here, that's certainly an option. But you could also make a page that is a standalone page for a single album release. This particular site, we made it sort of a all-in-one page type of site, but there's no reason that you couldn't have a page dedicated to a single release, a short album release, or what do they call short albums? They still call those LPs? I don't know. So now we've got some audio in there. Let's add in, not a bio, but let's add in some music videos. So this is sort of the same idea. We've got a 2-column grid. We're going to add in some YouTube links, and we're going to have 3 slides of YouTube links. So we've got 2 carousels with the C9 Blocks plugin. One is just for simple images. The other is for anything. So this anything carousel there has YouTube videos. It also can have uploaded videos, and we pair that with a link to their YouTube channel and then just swapping out the background image there, ever so gently adjusting the focal point, as you may have noticed there, to make the little masked man show up there on the right. Next up is we're going to add some posts, and these posts are going to be image gallery posts. So I've prepared these posts ahead of time, and you kind of see me going through the various sort of image sizes for the theme. Our theme will add its own image sizes, so this will look correct for you, just like it adds some of these other little enhancements to WordPress, like the YouTube video lightbox links. And it's a good idea to just kind of consistently save and check the front end and sort of review your front end edits just to make sure that everything looks good. So all of those 4 posts above there, those are all actually photo galleries. So I've limited that by a category of posts that is limited to photo galleries. Next up there, you just notice we just really quickly put in a WooCommerce product block. And our theme does actually support most of the built-in Gutenberg WooCommerce blocks, so it's easy for you to add a store, just like we did. And this sort of second post section down here, we're going to make this more of a blog section, so we're going to try a different category. There we go. We just changed it to blog, and now you should be seeing blog posts instead of photo galleries. So everything seems to be working the way that we want. I think I just want to make some spacing adjustments here to some of these sections to spread them out a little bit and let the design breathe. This is something that I do a lot in web design. I prefer to have the content be a little more spread out and a little more spaced out, just giving it some sort of negative white space there. And I don't know why, for some reason people don't like this, but so you'll notice that there are margin and padding settings on both the inner containers as well as the outer containers, so that you can fine tune your spacing above and below rows and above and below sections, which if you slow down some of the video, you should have seen me doing that already. But just my personal preference with design, and I think a lot of web designers will tell you the same thing, is sort of letting the design breathe a little bit, and it has a tendency to make it look a little bit better. The margin and padding classes actually come from Bootstrap. And if you can't get the spacing quite right with those classes on your containers, there's also a very helpful built-in block called the spacer block. And if you slow down the video, you've probably noticed that we've used it in a few places, but it does come in really handy for spacing out paragraphs and imagery and anything you might need to spread out a little bit more. So now that we've got our page sort of in line and all of our page sections, we need to get some links added up here in the header. So this is not that complicated. We've actually written the JavaScript code that sort of makes the animations and the single page stuff work. So all that you have to do is give these section IDs. So under this advanced tab here, if you select the outer grid, all that you need to do is add in an ID for every section that you want to link directly to. So I'm going to call this section home, and then I'm going to kind of just speed through the rest of these other sections as I label them. So all that you really need to know is you just need to select the outer or inner grid element, or even a heading element, and you need to give it an HTML anchor. This is what will give that HTML attribute, the HTML attribute for that section, an ID, so that we can link directly to it. So just speeding through all these other sections here, I'm just labeling them and giving them IDs. So if you need to slow down the video, you can go ahead and look and see how I applied unique IDs to those. And then Jumping over to our admin here, our admin menus here, you should notice that I already imported this from the first part of the video, this navigation menu, so I don't have to make it from scratch. But when I open up the individual links here, you should start to notice that the URLs are linking to the direct IDs. So we used a slash there at the beginning in the URL that denotes that it's going to be on the home page only, so that if you are on a blog post and you click on the tour link, it's going to take you to the home page first and then scroll you down to the tour, versus just having it be a hashtag without the slash there. So one thing that we are missing though is what I call what everyone calls CSS classes, and these CSS classes are going to make the animation possible. So you should notice that I've already input these, but it follows the sort of same naming conventions, and I just put C9 dash in front of whatever I labeled the IDs. And this is important so that the link that gets clicked, the GSAP or GreenSock animation library that we have, will then scroll you to that direct section. And then to make these icons on the right side of the navigation, you'll notice that we've got some slight HTML in there. That's just Bootstrap classes. SR only stands for screen reader only. And then in the CSS classes, you'll notice that we have FA Instagram, FA Spotify. That is how you add the icons themselves. So those come from the Font Awesome font library that comes with our theme. And the SR only class that we applied makes it so that screen readers can still see the text in between that piece of HTML, so that your site is still accessible for people who have bad eyesight. So that should do it. The only other step you really need to remember to do is to set that new homepage we just made under Appearance, Customize, and then Homepage Settings, so that it's the link that shows up when you click on that home link, and so that our navigation still works. And that's it. So the code for all of this is on GitHub. We'll try to review some of this in the actual blog on our site, so that you can sort of get a little bit more of an idea of how the code actually works, how the navigation works, and how the GreenSock animation library actually animates the links once you click on them. So if you'd like to take a look at that, go to our site, maybe subscribe to our emails, maybe shoot us an email, or maybe post a comment if you're cool. And big shout out to Royale the band for letting me use their music and some of their content in my video. So check them out if you like the music. They're good. They're from Chicago. See ya.